Marcus Webb, 41, state senator, civil rights attorney, husband to Dr. Amara Webb. Father, as of 8:47 a.m. on March 12th, to a 6-pound, 9-ounce baby girl named Justice. This is his story. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Are you in Charleston? Have you driven that same intersection? Because this could have been you. This could have been anyone. Now let's set the scene. March 12th, 2024. 8:02 a.m., downtown Charleston, South Carolina, the intersection of Meeting Street and Broad Street, historic district. Cobblestone streets slick from overnight rain, Spanish moss dripping from live oaks, church steeples cutting through low-hanging fog. This is postcard Charleston, tourist Charleston, the Charleston that sells itself as genteel and gracious and steeped in Southern hospitality. But peel back the romanticism, and you'll find the same fractures that split every American city along lines of race and class and power. Meeting and Broad sits at the heart of the business district. Law offices, banks, government buildings. At 8:02 a.m. on a Tuesday, the streets are filling with commuters, cars queuing at traffic lights, pedestrians clutching coffee cups, delivery trucks idling in loading zones. It's the kind of controlled chaos that defines morning rush hour in a mid-sized city. The intersection is monitored by traffic cameras, red light enforcement, the kind of revenue-generating tech that cities love and drivers hate. The light cycles every 90 seconds. Green, yellow, green, yellow, red predictable, mechanical, predictable. Marcus Webb's black Audi sedan approaches from the south on Meeting Street at 8:01 and 50 seconds. The light is yellow. He accelerates. The light turns red as his rear bumper clears the intersection. Technically a violation. Barely. The kind of rolling yellow to red that happens 10,000 times a day in every city in America. Most of the time, nothing happens. This time, a patrol car sitting in a side lot pulls onto Meeting Street. Lights, sirens, the works. Because Officer Dale Hutchins was watching, and Officer Dale Hutchins has a pattern. Marcus Thaddeus Webb, born February 3, 1983 in Columbia, South Carolina. Raised by a single mother, Lorraine Webb, a public school teacher who worked 2 jobs to keep Marcus and his younger sister Janelle fed and housed and focused on education. Lorraine had a saying, "They can take your money, they can take your car, but they can't take your mind." Marcus heard it every morning before school. He took it seriously. Valedictorian at C.A. Johnson High School, full ride to Morehouse College in Atlanta, double major in political science and African American studies, graduated summa cum laude in 2005, Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, where he earned a master's in public policy, returned to the States in 2007, Yale Law School, graduated top 10% of his class in 2010, could have gone to any firm in the country, big money, corner office, partnership track. Instead, Marcus joined the Southern Poverty Law Center as a civil rights attorney, spent 8 years litigating voting rights cases, police misconduct suits, employment discrimination claims, the work that doesn't make you rich but makes you necessary. In 2018, he ran for South Carolina's 14th District State Senate seat, grassroots campaign, knocked on 11,000 doors himself, won by 8 points, re-elected in 2022 by 14 points. In 6 years, he'd authored or co-sponsored 43 bills: criminal justice reform, bail reform, police accountability measures, Medicaid expansion, voting access protections. He wasn't a backbencher. He was a voice, and he was meticulous, never late, never unprepared, never gave anyone a reason to dismiss him. Which is why, on the morning of March 12, 2024, when his wife woke him at 7:35 a.m. saying her contractions were starting, Marcus did everything right. They'd packed the hospital bag 3 weeks earlier, car seat installed, route to Mercy General Hospital mapped and timed, 12-minute drive under normal conditions. Marcus added a buffer. They had time. But Dr. Amara Webb's labor, like so many first pregnancies, didn't follow the textbook. Contractions that were supposed to start slow and build over hours hit fast and hard. By 7:50 a.m., they were 3 minutes apart. Amara, a neonatal surgeon who delivered hundreds of babies, knew what that meant. "We need to go now." Marcus helped her into the car, grabbed the bag, started the engine. He wasn't speeding. He wasn't reckless. He was a man trying to get his wife to the hospital before their child arrived on the side of the road, and when that light turned yellow at Meeting and Broad, Marcus made a split-second calculation. Stop and wait 90 seconds, or go. He went. That decision cost him his freedom, his dignity, and very nearly, his daughter's life. Because Officer Dale Hutchins saw a black man in an expensive car run a red light in a wealthy part of town, and he saw an opportunity. Dale Edwin Hutchins, born November 18, 1978, in Goose Creek, South Carolina. High school diploma, 2 years of community college, no degree. Joined the Charleston Police Department in 2012 at age 34 after a decade of bouncing between security jobs and a brief stint as a bail bondsman. Not a model recruit. Barely passed the psychological evaluation, scored in the bottom quartile on the written exam. But Charleston PD was hiring, and Hutchins met the minimum qualifications. What his file shows, what any honest review would reveal, is a 12-year pattern of complaints, 17 formal complaints, filed by civilians, documented in internal affairs records. Let's go through them. 2013, complaint from a 19-year-old black male alleging Hutchins used excessive force during a traffic stop for a broken taillight. Claim, Hutchins slammed the young man's face into the hood of the car after he asked why he was being detained. Outcome, investigated. Hutchins claimed the individual was resisting. No witnesses. Case closed. Hutchins received a verbal warning. 2014, complaint from a Hispanic woman alleging Hutchins made derogatory comments about her immigration status during a shoplifting call at a convenience store. She was the store owner. Outcome, Hutchins denied the comments. No recording. Case closed. 2015, complaint from a black family alleging Hutchins entered their home without a warrant during a noise complaint call and threatened to arrest the father in front of his children. Outcome, Hutchins said he believed he heard a domestic disturbance. No charges filed. Written reprimand. 2016, 2 complaints. First, from a black man alleging Hutchins racially profiled him during a stop for jaywalking in a predominantly white neighborhood. Second, from a white woman alleging Hutchins was aggressive and dismissive when she reported a stalking incident. Outcome, both investigated. Hutchins completed a 4-hour sensitivity training course. 2017, complaint from a black college student alleging Hutchins stopped him without cause, searched his backpack, and confiscated his textbooks, claiming they looked suspicious. Books were returned 3 days later. Outcome, Hutchins said he was investigating a theft. No evidence of theft. Case closed. 2018, 3 complaints, all from black motorists, all alleged racial profiling during traffic stops. One involved Hutchins allegedly telling a driver, "You don't look like you belong in this neighborhood." Outcome, pattern noted in internal review. Hutchins placed on probation for 6 months. Required to complete an 8-hour implicit bias training. 2019, complaint from a black business owner alleging Hutchins refused to take a report when the owner's shop was vandalized with racist graffiti. Outcome, Hutchins claimed he suggested the owner file online. Business owner had no record of this advice. Case closed. 2020, 2 complaints during the summer protests. Both alleged Hutchins used excessive force during arrests at peaceful demonstrations. One involved a 62-year-old black woman. Outcome, reviewed during a broader investigation into protest policing. Insufficient evidence. Case closed. 2021, complaint from a black family alleging Hutchins pulled a gun on their teenage son during a traffic stop for speeding. The teen had no prior record. He was driving to a church youth group meeting. Outcome, Hutchins said he perceived a threat. Dashcam showed no threatening behavior. Suspension, 3 days without pay. 2022, complaint from a black woman alleging Hutchins followed her through a grocery store parking lot, stopped her, and accused her of stealing a purse that was hers. Outcome, store security footage confirmed she entered the store with the purse. Written apology required. Case closed. 2023, complaint from a black delivery driver alleging Hutchins detained him for 40 minutes while verifying his employment, despite the driver showing his uniform ID and delivery manifest. Outcome, Hutchins said the vehicle matched a description from a robbery call. It didn't. Final written warning. 17 complaints in 12 years. That's not bad luck, that's a pattern. And every time the system bent toward protecting Hutchins. Investigations that went nowhere, trainings that changed nothing, a probation that was theater, a 3-day suspension that was a long weekend. By March 2024, Dale Hutchins had spent over a decade using his badge as a weapon, and the department knew it. So when he pulled Marcus Webb over at 8:02 a.m., he wasn't just making a routine traffic stop. He was looking for conflict, and he found it. The Audi pulls to the curb on Meeting Street, just past Broad. Hazards on, engine running. Amara Webb is in the passenger seat, hands braced against the dashboard, breathing through a contraction. Hutchins approaches the driver's side window. Doesn't knock, doesn't announce himself, just shines his flashlight directly into Marcus's face, even though it's full daylight. License and registration. Marcus's hands are already on the wheel. 10 and 2. Visible. Non-threatening. Officer, my wife is in labor. We're heading to Mercy General. Can I show you my... I didn't ask for a story. I asked for your license. Marcus reaches slowly for the glove box, pulls out his registration, then reaches for his wallet in the center console. Hutchins steps back, hand on his holster. What are you reaching for? My wallet. My license is in my wallet. Keep your hands where I can see them. I am. I'm getting my license. You asked for my license. Step out of the vehicle. This is where reasonable becomes impossible. Marcus doesn't move. He's a lawyer. He knows his rights. He also knows that this situation is escalating for no reason. Officer, I'll give you my information. You can write me a ticket, but I need to get my wife to the hospital. Her contractions are 3 minutes apart. She's a doctor. She knows what that means. Please. Amara leans forward. She's 38 weeks pregnant. Her face is flushed. She's in visible distress. Please. We're not trying to cause trouble. Just let us go. Hutchins ignores her. Focuses on Marcus. I said step out of the vehicle. I'm not getting out. You can follow us. You can meet us at the hospital. But I'm not stopping here. You're refusing a lawful order? I'm telling you my wife is in active labor, and I'm taking her to the hospital 4 miles from here. You can do whatever you want after that. Hutchins taps his radio. I need backup at Meeting in Broad. Driver refusing to comply. A second patrol car arrives within 90 seconds. Officer Jenny Pryor, 8-year veteran. She approaches the passenger side, sees Amara, and her expression shifts immediately. Dale? What's going on? Hutchins doesn't answer. He's already opening Marcus's door. Out. Now. Marcus doesn't resist. He's too smart for that. But he doesn't move quickly either. He's deliberate, careful, hands visible. He steps out onto the wet pavement. Hutchins grabs his arm, spins him toward the car. Hands behind your back. Officer, I'm a state senator. My name is Marcus Webb. District 14. My wife is in labor. Check my ID. Call my office. Call the Capitol. But please, let me take her to the hospital. I don't care if you're the governor. You ran a red light, and you refused a lawful order. Pryor is standing by the passenger door now, talking to Amara through the window. Ma'am, are you okay? How far apart are your contractions? 3 minutes. Please, please help us. Pryor walks back to Hutchins. Dale, we need to get her to the hospital. She'll get there. After I process him, he's telling you his wife is in labor, and I'm telling you he's under arrest. Hutchins cuffs Marcus, hands behind his back, metal biting into wrists. Marcus doesn't say anything. He's watching Amara through the car window. She's crying now, not from pain, from fear. This is where procedure becomes cruelty. Hutchins walks Marcus to the patrol car, puts him in the back seat, comes back to the Audi, looks at Amara. You'll need to call someone to pick you up. What? Your husband's being arrested. You can't drive his car. Call a friend. I'm in labor. I need to go to the hospital. Then call an ambulance. Pryor steps in. I'll drive her. Hutchins shakes his head. You're staying here. I need a witness for the arrest report. Dale, she's in labor, and that's not my problem. A small crowd has gathered. Morning commuters, people filming on phones. A woman in scrubs, maybe a nurse, crosses the street. What's happening? Pryor holds up a hand. Please step back, ma'am. But the nurse doesn't step back. She walks to the Audi, leans in, talks to Amara. How far along are you? 38 weeks. How far apart? 3 minutes. The nurse straightens, looks at Hutchins. This woman needs to get to a hospital right now. She's calling an ambulance. We're 4 miles from Mercy General. An ambulance will take 20 minutes to get here and another 10 to get her there. That's 30 minutes. She might not have 30 minutes. Then she should have thought about that before her husband broke the law. This is where bystander becomes witness. Another man, older, in a suit, approaches. He's holding his phone up, recording. "Officer, are you seriously arresting a man for running a yellow light while his wife is in labor?" It was red, and he refused to comply. "So your solution is to handcuff him and leave her on the side of the road?" "My solution is to do my job." The man in the suit turns to Pryor. "What's your name, officer?" "Jenny Pryor." "Are you okay with this?" Pryor hesitates. "She's not okay with this. Everyone watching can see she's not okay with this. But she's junior to Hutchins, and in that moment, hierarchy wins." "I'm calling my supervisor," Pryor says. She walks back to her patrol car, gets on the radio. Meanwhile, Marcus is sitting in the back of Hutchins's cruiser, hands cuffed behind him, watching his wife through 2 layers of glass and 20 feet of pavement. And then Amara screams, not a labor scream, a terror scream, because her daughter is coming, right now, in the front seat of a parked car on a public street in downtown Charleston. The nurse moves without asking permission, opens the passenger door, helps Amara recline the seat. The woman is fully dilated. The baby is crowning. She's delivering. Right now. Hutchins walks back to the Audi, stares at the scene like it's an inconvenience. "I called an ambulance." "She doesn't have time for an ambulance. This baby is coming in the next 5 minutes. Then you'd better move fast." The nurse looks at him with an expression that could melt steel. "Uncuff her husband. He should be here for this. He's under arrest. He's a father. And his daughter is being born on the side of the road because you decided your ego was more important than a medical emergency." This is where authority becomes absurdity. A 3rd patrol car arrives. But this isn't backup. It's a white Ford Explorer with a supervisor decal on the door. Sergeant William Drayton. 26 years with Charleston PD. Broad-shouldered, gray hair. The kind of cop who's seen every flavor of stupid and has no patience for any of it. He steps out of the vehicle, takes one look at the scene. Amara in the front seat. The nurse kneeling on the pavement. Marcus in the back of Hutchins's cruiser. The crowd filming. And Hutchins standing there like he's directing traffic. Drayton walks straight to Hutchins. "What the hell is going on here?" "Traffic stop." Driver refused to comply. He's under arrest. Drayton looks at the Audi, looks at Marcus, looks back at Hutchins. "That's Marcus Webb. State Senator. I don't care who he is. You should. Pryor radioed me 5 minutes ago saying you were arresting a man for running a yellow light while his wife was in labor. I thought she was exaggerating. It was red, and he refused to exit the vehicle." Drayton walks to the patrol car, opens the back door, looks at Marcus. "Senator Webb, I'm Sergeant Drayton. I'm going to get you out of here." He pulls Marcus out, unlocks the cuffs. Marcus doesn't say a word, just rubs his wrists and runs to the Audi. He's in time to see his daughter's head emerge. The nurse coaches Amara through the final push. Drayton is on the phone with 911, directing an ambulance to the scene. Pryor has traffic blocked off. Hutchins is standing alone near his patrol car, realizing too late that he's made a catastrophic mistake. At 8:47 a.m., Justice Lorraine Webb is born on Meeting Street in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. 6 pounds, 9 ounces, healthy, screaming, perfect. Marcus is holding Amara's hand, tears streaming down his face. The nurse wraps the baby in someone's jacket. An ambulance arrives 3 minutes later. Paramedics load Amara and Justice onto a stretcher. Marcus climbs in beside them. Drayton watches them go. Then he turns to Hutchins. "Give me your badge." Hutchins' face goes blank. "Sir?" "Badge. Gun. Now. You can't. I can. And I am. You're suspended pending an internal investigation. And if I have anything to say about it, you're done." Hutchins hands over his badge and service weapon, walks to his patrol car, drives away. The crowd disperses, the videos upload, and by noon the entire country knows what happened. By 2:00 p.m., the video has 2 million views. By 5:00 p.m., it's on every major news network: CNN, Fox, MSNBC, local affiliates, national outlets. The footage is everywhere. Cop arrests, state senator during wife's labor, baby born in car after traffic stop, racial profiling or traffic enforcement. The Charleston Police Department issues a statement at 4:30 p.m., standard PR language. We are aware of an incident involving one of our officers and are conducting a thorough internal review. Officer Dale Hutchins has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. Administrative leave, not suspension, not termination, leave, which means paid time off while the department figures out how to manage the optics, but the public isn't waiting for an internal review. By the next morning, protesters are outside Charleston PD headquarters, signs, chants, demands for Hutchins to be fired, calls for the police chief to resign. Marcus Webb's face is on every placard. His office is flooded with messages, support, outrage, offers to help, media requests. Within 48 hours, he's declined 50 interview requests and accepted one, a sit-down with a local journalist known for holding power accountable. Meanwhile, Marcus hires an attorney, not just any attorney, Benjamin Crump, the same civil rights lawyer who represented the families of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. If you're suing for civil rights violations in America, Crump is the call. The lawsuit is filed 6 days after the incident. Claims: unlawful arrest, excessive force, racial profiling, violation of civil rights, emotional distress, negligence, and endangerment of a minor. Defendants: Officer Dale Hutchins and the City of Charleston. Demanded relief: $41 million. The number isn't arbitrary. Crump breaks it down in the filing. $1 million for each year of Marcus Webb's life that he's spent navigating a world where his skin color makes him a target. $40 million for the systemic failure that allowed Officer Hutchins to operate unchecked for 12 years, despite 17 formal complaints. And $1 million for Justice Webb, who will grow up knowing her first breath was taken in a car on a public street because a cop valued control over compassion. The city's response is textbook: deny everything, claim qualified immunity, argue that Hutchins was following protocol, insist that race played no role. But then the dashcam footage is released, and it's damning. You can hear everything: Marcus explaining the emergency, Amara's distress, Hutchins's refusal to show any flexibility, the moment he cuffs Marcus, the crowd's reaction, the nurse's intervention, Drayton's arrival, and most critically, you can hear Hutchins say, "I don't care if she's having triplets." The city changes its strategy. Settlement talks begin within 3 weeks. By mid-May, it's done. The city of Charleston agrees to pay Marcus and Amara Webb $41 million, full amount. No admission of guilt, but a statement acknowledging that the events of March 12, 2024 fell short of the standards we expect from our officers. And Officer Dale Hutchins? Terminated June 2, 2024, 12 weeks after the incident. The termination letter, obtained through a public records request, is 3 paragraphs long. The final sentence reads, "Your pattern of behavior, culminating in the events of March 12th, demonstrates a fundamental inability to serve the public with fairness, respect, and sound judgment. Hutchins's career is over. That's consequence. The city paid $41 million. That's accountability. But the story doesn't end there. On August 14, 2024, the Charleston City Council holds a public hearing on police reform. Marcus Webb is invited to testify. It's his first public statement since the settlement. He stands at the podium in a dark suit, hands gripping the edges of the lectern, and speaks for 12 minutes. Here's what he says. "My name is Marcus Webb. I'm a state senator, a civil rights attorney, a husband, and a father. On March 12th of this year, I became something else. A statistic, a hashtag, a case study. And while I'm grateful that my family is safe and that we've achieved some measure of justice, I want to be very clear about what happened that morning. It wasn't an anomaly. It wasn't a bad apple. It was a system functioning exactly as it was designed. Officer Hutchins didn't wake up that morning and decide to violate my rights. He woke up in a world where he'd been doing it for 12 years with no meaningful consequences. 17 complaints. 17 times someone said, 'This man abused his power.' And 17 times the system said, 'That's unfortunate, but not quite enough.' When my daughter was born on that street, the first thing I felt wasn't joy. It was rage. Rage that my wife had to endure that trauma. Rage that my daughter's first moments were defined by cruelty. Rage that I, A sitting state senator with every credential and connection you could ask for was powerless to protect them. And then I thought about everyone who doesn't have those credentials, everyone who doesn't have my education, my resources, my platform. What happens to them? Who films their encounter? Who calls a supervisor? Who gets them justice? We settled our case for $41 million. That number made headlines, but here's what it really means. It means the city of Charleston valued our suffering at $41 million, but valued preventing future suffering at zero. Because nothing in that settlement requires policy change. Nothing mandates retraining. Nothing ensures that another family won't go through what we did. I didn't come here for sympathy. I came here to demand action. I'm proposing a 5-point reform plan. 1. Mandatory public reporting of all complaints against officers, with annual reviews by an independent civilian board. 2. Termination of any officer with 3 or more sustained complaints involving racial bias or excessive force. 3. Elimination of qualified immunity for officers in civil rights cases. 4. Body camera footage released within 48 hours of any use of force incident. 5. Community oversight with binding authority over disciplinary decisions. These aren't radical ideas, they're baseline accountability, and if this city, if this council, refuses to implement them, then we're just waiting for the next Marcus Webb, the next Amara Webb, the next family that has to fight for justice instead of receiving it. My daughter's name is Justice. I chose that name before she was born because I believe in justice. I've spent my career fighting for it, but on March 12th, I learned that belief isn't enough. We have to build it, and that work starts here, today. With you. He steps away from the podium to a standing ovation. 3 of the 5 reforms pass within 6 months. Let's zoom out. What happened to Marcus Webb isn't rare. It's not an outlier. It's the expected outcome of a system that prioritizes officer discretion over civilian safety, that protects bad actors through opacity and bureaucracy, and that treats accountability as optional. Officer Dale Hutchins had 17 complaints, 17 documented instances where someone said, "This man is abusing his power." And for 12 years, the system responded with a shrug, verbal warnings, written reprimands, sensitivity training that changed nothing, a 3-day suspension that was a vacation. The system didn't fail Officer Hutchins. It protected him. And it failed every person he encountered after that first complaint in 2013. It failed the 19-year-old whose face was slammed into a car hood. It failed the Hispanic woman accused of being undocumented. It failed the black family whose home was entered without a warrant. It failed every motorist, every protester, every citizen who crossed Hutchins's path and left with their dignity diminished. The real question is, what changes now? Because a $41 million settlement is a headline. It's a payout. But it's not prevention. It doesn't unbirth a baby on a public street. It doesn't erase Amara Webb's trauma or Marcus Webb's rage or the fact that their daughter's first moments were defined by institutional cruelty. Marcus proposed 5 reforms. The city passed 3. That's progress. But it's also proof of how low the bar is. That basic transparency, basic accountability, basic civilian oversight are treated as radical demands instead of common sense. Here's what we know. Police misconduct isn't a training problem. It's not a bad apple problem. It's a structural problem. And structures don't change unless we demand it. So here's the question for you. Do you think officers with patterns of racial bias should be automatically terminated? Do you think complaints should be public record? Do you think civilian oversight boards should have binding authority over disciplinary decisions? Drop your answers below. Because if we don't fix the system that allowed Dale Hutchins to operate for 12 years, then we're just waiting for the next traffic stop, the next confrontation, the next family forced to fight for basic humanity. If you want to see more stories like this, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and most importantly, use your voice in city council meetings, in voting booths, in conversations with people who think this is just about one bad cop, because it's not. It's about all of us and what we're willing to tolerate. Justice Lorraine Webb is 8 months old now. She's healthy, thriving. She has no memory of the day she was born, but her parents do, and so do we. Let's make sure her generation inherits something better. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.